Everybody has a different I talk about the predecessors. Some people like Nero, Donald, right? Other people like Burger King, other Polo, you know? We all like different things.
Content over everything!
Some people
but
like...
if you're required to believe in it,
Some
yeah, the
people say,
Injil
no,
and the Torah, can you
Right?
show me... No, first of all,
But
do you think it was corrupt
it
before the
comes
revelation
down
to Muhammad or afterwards?
How you were
Before.
created?
It was corrupt before, so
What's
why
that?
does God say in the Quran that you should believe in it if it was corrupt before?
Well,
You
should believe in its existence.
You
should believe in
Is that what he says?
How?
You believe in his
No,
existence? No,
no,
what
no.
God should say is don't believe in it. Why would Allah say believe in a book that was corrupt?
Because
They actually say you should ask the Christians, you should ask the people of the book.
okay, no, some people say that. So I had friends a long time ago. They believe that the Bible was like it's corrupt. No, it's like demonic or something like that. Yeah, they have like a weird mentality. And then, but we believe that it existed. It's
So you read these surahs. It said, "Oh, you have believing in Allah and His Messenger and the books that He sent down before. Whoever disbelieves in Allah, His angels, and His books and messengers, and the last day has gone astray." So you're telling me Allah is asking them to believe in something that was corrupt at the time?
We believe in that Allah sent down books. We don't believe that.
He sent down books.
Yeah. No, he didn't send down books. He,
But why would he ask you to believe in something that's corrupt?
The Islamic version. Because in the Quran, in many surahs, it is what is written in these books is described in detail in many surahs in the Quran.
Go on.
Like as in what Moses said and what Jesus said and what Abraham
So what you're saying is in the Quran very clearly says don't believe in those books because they're corrupt. Because that's what God would say if they were corrupt before.
They add stuff to, I don't remember the specific ayah, but it says something around that. They add stuff to the book, so it was corrupt. Yeah.
I've got them here, look.
Give me a
Do you cover
example
that they would believe for you while a party of them used to hear the words of Allah and distort them, i.e. the Torah, after they had understood it while they were knowing? You're saying this is before...
I like it.
It was corrupt before the revelation.
Stupidity is normal.
Okay, but where does it say? It actually says they used to hear the words and distort them, meaning that the original was still in existence. He's just identifying names to
So they
distort.
did distort the whole book. Some parts of it were preserved.
At the time, there was
some part of it were not distorted. Some part of it were not corrupt.
Where does it say that in the
there was
Quran?
some
It
non-corrupt
says it
versions.
here.
No.
See, you know the sources of Islam is Quran and Sunnah. So what the Prophet taught us, as well as the Quran, the words of Allah. So what the Prophet taught us was that some of it, most of it, no, I don't know. But okay, some of it is corrupt.
Why would Allah say this is quite an important one? We sent following in their footsteps Jesus the son of Mary, confirming that which had come before. Allah is saying that Jesus came to confirm what was in the Torah, and we gave him the gospel, which is guidance and light, confirming which preceded it. And then it also says that you should ask the Christians if you don't understand. There is nothing in any of these surahs that says anything about the books being corrupt and that you shouldn't
And also,
believe in them.
it wouldn't have helped if it says that it's corrupt. You still have to provide some evidence for it being corrupt. And I know that many of your Islamic scholars says that Paul did it, but that doesn't make sense at all. We don't have any historical records of Paul being sort of changing anything or doing
He didn't
anything.
change it. How do you provide evidence that his word was from God directly, inspired by God, the word that he wrote as a Bible? How do you?
We do have different visions of the Bible. We believe that the one who is perfect is God. This is the distinction between the Quran and the Bible. We believe that the one who is...
It can be liable to error.
It could be. Of course it could be.
Could I ask you, because it does say that we should come together on terms and agree things, you know, as Christians and Muslims. Let's see. You believe there was a man called Jesus. And I'm not trying to trap you, I'm seeing how far we can go. But there was a man called Isa.
Okay. I can't do that myself.
No, but you believe there was. But no, in the Quran it says there was. So we believe there was a man called Jesus.
Yes.
We believe that he taught. during his life.
Yes.
We believe he had followers who heard the message. We believe that Jesus ascended to God, whether he died or not, we don't need to dispute it, but he ascended. Yeah. And we believe that those believers who heard his message preached the message to people. And then later on they wrote down that message.
You see, we live in a world.
That's called the
no
gospel,
definition.
the Injil.
Yeah, and we
Everybody's
believe,
got
we
their
believe that
Can
some
you-
of
can
it
you
was
check-
distorted.
Right?
Some of
we believe
So
it was
nobody
written
knows
down
what's
many years
wrong
later.
anymore.
We believe that it was written down
You-
many years
because
later, which I
you
think in
live
history is
in this
correct. That it was written down many years
generation.
later.
Yeah, it was about 300 years, yeah. No, actually, there were fragments in existence that were read in various churches right from AD 90. So it was in existence, but the canonization process, like the Hadith canonization process, wasn't complete for
In the
350 years.
Quran, they refer to the Christians, the followers, the true followers of Jesus, as the Huriyun. And the Prophet actually says, oh, you who believe, be like the Huriyun were to Jesus. They followed him, they fought with him and everything. But some of them were obviously, because even Islam, there were some people called hypocrites. So they looked like they believed, they told people we believe, they prayed that with other people, but they didn't believe. So that should have happened.
You know, my one problem is this, and I haven't found an answer yet that convinces me, that if we accept that the Injil and the Torah were corrupt before the revelation to Muhammad, that we have all of these surahs that tell you that you must believe in it. It would have been very simple for Allah to say, and this is what I would expect if I believe what you've just said, to say, do not believe in the books. They are corrupt and are of no profit to you. But it's the opposite. He says they're full of guidance and instruction. You must believe in them. If you're in confusion, ask those who've got it.
Yes.
And even Waraka. Have you heard of Waraka? He was the one who, after the revelation in the cave, it was his wife who said it was, and he said it was the angel Jibril. He used to write the Arabic writing. He used to write it at the time, so was he writing corrupt things, Waraka?
No,
I didn't claim that everyone was corrupt. I didn't claim that every guy who wrote the Bible was... No, wait. So when we believe in Islam, that the Bible is the words of God portrayed like... So it's the revelation, it's something like that, yeah?
I think I understand. You're saying that the Gospels we have were the real Gospels, or that they were corrupt.
No, not that. So what I'm saying is, you have real Gospels, obviously, but I don't think Islam people, Muslims, believe in the people who come after, even if they're spiritual, and they add stuff to it, like Quran, and it's considered wicked. And
heading for the Emirates Stadium to watch Arsenal.
After that,
Very nice to meet you. I'm John.
of knowledge who add stuff.
Sure. Are you
It's
coming
not
here
considered Quran, it's
frequently?
not considered Sunnah, it's considered knowledge of the scholars.
Do you know better
We don't make it divine, we don't make it holy.
Jonathan,
But you know, I can understand what you're saying, but the things that you say aren't in the
there are people
Quran.
who frequently come.
Those aren't things that you find in the Quran.
What I said was Quran and Sunnah.
Can I just re-throw this one back at you? You believe the Gospels were corrupt before the revelation to Muhammad. Okay, and yet we have
What's that for?
all of these surahs which says that people in the book believe in what we have now revealed. There is no surah here that says anything like they are corrupt and should not be used for any instruction, and you should stay away from them and you shouldn't believe in them.
It says this,
These are the two verses, but they don't say anything.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah, she used to go.
Let me say them after, but first, I would like to say, at the time, not
Excuse me, guys. I'm going to watch the Arsenal match.
Oh,
See ya. All right. See ya.
put the kingdom first. Come on. See you later.
Assalamu alaikum.
See ya. Yeah. But I love the spirit that you bring into the discussion. I hate it when people argue and try and belittle other people. In fact, some advice is walk away from those kinds of conversations because they're not profitable for anyone.
like this guy, he's just preaching, he
even
doesn't
in
answer
Islam,
questions.
it says respect other religions because people from other religions can still go to heaven. It's not just. It does say that.
Well, I believe.
Broad statement.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just respect anybody just because they have a belief. And belief could be insane.
For sure. And I think it's the spirit of some people actually want to destroy the person in front of them and make them look foolish. And there's a lot of pride that can be generated from that. But so far we're getting to the discussion that You believe there was something called the Injil in the Torah. You believe, however, it was corrupt before the revelation that was revealed to Muhammad. But then after the revelation, we have all these surahs that say you should believe in it. And what I'm trying to do, I'll just wrap it up. I'm trying to work out there's an irrationality about a God saying believe in something that he knows is corrupt without clearly saying, he should be saying don't believe in it, it's corrupt.
In Islam,
When we look at people and the nature itself,
as soon as
we
the Prophet
say
in Islam,
there must be a God. Could this all have just
got revealed, the first ever verses of the Quran revealed.
I'm sorry, we were having a conversation and it's...
The first ever verses that were revealed to him, he was taken by his wife.
There's a beautiful woman right there. Look at that woman.
A Christian
scholar.
Baraka.
Yeah. And that's because, and even before that, way before he first got his revelation, a Christian scholar saw him and said, oh, he has the signs of a prophet that are written in the Bible.
Every person is beautiful.
So at the time,
these are in the Hadith.
In the Hadith, yeah, not in the... And so we believe that at the time, not all Christians were corrupt. There were Christians like Waraka, for example, who believed in the true Quran. And in the Ahadith, it says that...
that's a frenemy of mine. It's okay.
What can we do?
No,
listen,
God
we're trying to talk about
created us for a purpose. Did you know that? It's a purpose. We're not just going to walk around bumping into each other and say, hi, my name's so-and-so.
I apologize.
What's your name?
The Quran says believe in it. And you guys, the Quran also says is distorted.
So you believe in it? You believe in it?
So what I'm trying to say is, I think
sent
that what I believe is the Bible, or what you believe is the Bible, or different versions.
So what Bible do you believe in?
I believe in the Bible that was sent out, that the words Jesus said, I cannot question that. The words Jesus said, because it might...
Have you any evidence of what it was and what was in it?
I don't. No, I don't. So
It not even existed.
Because I've got the Greek version of the New Testament. This is the earliest you can find. It's in Koine Greek. There is none other. This is the gospel that all the Christians accepted as true. Now you believe there were Christians, yeah?
John 3:16.
Are you saying they had a different gospel to this one? Because they didn't.
That's what I'm trying to say.
See, this is the way I can't understand. If I've got the earliest, I can understand later they could get corrupt.
Everlasting life.
In Islam, prophets do not make mistakes. They're never, whatever they say is right. So they're purified. And we believe Jesus is the prophet. So whatever he said, I cannot question that. Okay? So this is what I believe was the Bible. And then after whatever the scholars of Christianity added, the apostles, I cannot disagree with it, but I cannot believe in it and make it divine and not question it.
Yeah, I applaud you for your consistency in saying I believe in the Quran and this is how I understand the Bible. However, because the Torah and the Injil came before the Quran, we have something called history. And if the things that were said about the Torah and the Injil and you say that they were corrupt, there must be some evidence that you can provide me of the uncorrupt, because the way we discover what is corrupt, I show you the earliest, you show me a later one, and we can see which is corrupt. So you must be able to show me some scraps of the Islamic Injil that you can say to me, look, you can see yours is corrupt because we've got it, but it doesn't exist. That's the problem. Can he let him have? Oh no, go on. No, you got finish the sentence.
Okay, the only thing that I can just say, the only thing I can compare it with whatever you've got is whatever Jesus said.
Really?
So I myself, I don't know what he said. I do not know your Bibles, your Gospels, but I know that I believe in what Jesus said. Whatever he said, I believe is true. So I can compare it with whatever is said after. So Jesus never said that he was God. Never claimed I was God. Other people said that. Other people claim he's God. He's the Son. He's divine. So I can compare that to each other and say that Jesus never said that. And you're saying something Jesus never said.
What, that Jesus never said that he was God?
Yeah.
Okay, do you believe the Christians believed he was God?
Christians, the early ones.
Yeah.
No.
You don't believe the early Christians believed that he was God?
His followers.
Okay, well, you know what?
Okay, some of them obviously believed he was God. Some of them didn't.
See, what I've got here is the...
Come here, this is Deuteronomy
Have a look.
18.
We're talking about Jesus and his God.
You
I
said
just show
you could read. Come on.
the very, very earliest...
Are you an English reader?
Where have we got? Jesus is God.
Wait.
Okay, now this is important because Ignatius, he's a member of the early church, from 105. That is really, really early. God himself was manifested in human form.
What did it say?
105. This is before the canonization of the Bible. Again, I pray for your happiness forever in our God, Jesus Christ.
Where emptiness begins and ends.
Scholars like these, I can't approve them. I can only approve what Jesus said.
If
Jesus said it.
Okay, now Jesus said, let's have a little look. Jesus' divinity. Right, this is from the Bible. Okay. In the beginning was the Word was God, was with God, and the Word was God. We believe Jesus is the Word. So this is saying that Jesus was God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. The Word, meaning the eternal Word, became flesh. This is in the Bible. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten God who was in the bosom of the Father, he has explained him. The begotten God who was in the bosom of the Father, he's explained, that's Jesus. Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe I am in the Father? The Father is in me. The words I say to you, I do not speak on my own, but the Father who dwells in me does his work. Believe me.
It's God who said it.
No, these are the words of Jesus. This is the words of Jesus. I'll finish them off, the words of Jesus. The words of Jesus. No one has ever seen God. It is God, the only Son, who is close to his Father's heart, who has made him known. That's Jesus talking. He's saying that he is God, the only Son. Right?
How do I know that it's true? How do I know that it's not like...
Well, I'll tell you what. So what you're saying is, even though this is in the Bible, you don't believe it.
Okay. I do believe it.
I do. Personally, I do.
You believe Jesus...
I don't believe God
sins away.
Although he says, "Oh, the Father is in me," if you saw the Father, you see me.
I do know what I'm talking about.
This could,
do you understand?
Could be claimed because
God had a plan.
this is translation, right?
He has
from
a
what
plan
the
for
original
you
language
and a plan for me.
And
His
I can
plan
say
is
something
the
in
same.
English right now, and when I translate it to Arabic, it won't sound in the same sort
Okay,
of
I understand that. I think I know what you're going to say, right? However, let's say if the Bible had dropped from space and we were looking through it, you could make that claim. However, the Bible didn't come out of nowhere. It was initially transmitted orally by word of mouth. And we've got the writings of the people who transmitted it who confirm what I believe. They actually say what you believe is wrong. So I'm not really interested in my opinion or your opinion or his opinion. I'm interested in the opinion of the people who recorded and transmitted the gospel. They're the people whose opinion counts the most. And they clearly say, one after the other, from Ignatius through to Clement, to Justin Martyr, to Irenaeus, all of the church fathers, these were the ones who compiled, transmitted, recorded the Bible, recorded those words I just read you. They all maintain that Jesus was God. So if I accept what you say, I have to say, well, they got it wrong, but they were there within 60 years of Jesus. Do you see the problem that I have?
But then do you see the guy who came 300 years later? The guy from Egypt, Arius,
oh yeah, the Arian heresy, yeah.
Who believed that Jesus was not God.
Yeah, he was a heretical Christian.
So there was also a lot of Christians who believed Jesus was not God. They were there around him.
I think Islam had the same thing with the Shias and
some people
they were sects. They were heretical sects.
Some people believe that Ali was God. What did Ali do to them?
Go back.
Ali, he killed them. He said that's against Islam. You can't be a Muslim when you believe man is good.
Well, you know what's funny? You mentioned Arius because you obviously have done some research on church history.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Well, the guy who just came.
All right, he talked to you about Arius because it was after Arius that we had the Nicene Creed. Have you heard of the Nicene Creed?
Yeah, they all disapproved of him because there was 216 of them, and only one believed in Jesus as not man.
Okay. But do you know the first line of the Nicene Creed?
You're like anybody else.
The first line of the Nicene Creed is, I believe in one God. The first line of the Nicene Creed. Christians have never believed in more than one God. Every statement after I believe in one God is subservient to the one God rule. There are no two gods, not three gods. So when we think of the Holy Spirit in the temple, That wasn't two gods, that was the same God, but present here on earth.
Got their own love.
And when the Spirit and the Word came onto Jesus Christ, it was just like the Spirit in the temple, but in human form. There was a human nature and a divine nature coexisting in the body of Jesus Christ. So all I can do is recommend that you carry on your research in Christianity. Look particularly at the historical content. Try and ignore my opinion, your opinion, and anyone else's opinion, and go to the historical facts. And you'll see that the people who compiled and transmitted the Bible believe Jesus was God.
Do you believe that Muhammad is a prophet?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, see, the difference is I'm not required to as a Christian. You, however, are required to believe in the Torah and the Injil. This is the difference. So you've got to reconcile what the Quran says with the Injil and the Torah, because they're your three holy books. So the conclusion you come to, because the Quran says things about the Bible that Christians would disagree with, is to say that the Christians' scriptures are corrupt. So then I asked you a question, when were they corrupt? And you said before Muhammad. So then I said to you, well, why would Muhammad tell you to believe in him if they were?
What we believe is the Bible. What you believe is the Bible is different. Because with us, scholars, when they write stuff, when they transmit stuff from the Prophet, we call it hadith. We call it knowledge. We call it knowledge, yeah?
But you have hadiths that are authentic and less authentic. People dispute over which ones are real. So it's not a pure science. You know.
I don't know. I haven't studied this, but I've watched some,
I do, yeah, I've watched a few of this.
I think
Can I say I'm enjoying talking to you young men? How old are you?
Jesus Christ.
14, you are? You are? 17, yeah, good for you. I'm glad you came down. Iron sharpens iron, so every time you're down here, you know, you learn, don't we?
I think that was
is the way
as taught
and the truth
saying
and the
that
life.
in the Bible
Jesus came to give us
I
hope.
believe this is true. In the Bible it says, for I gave my only begotten.
You don't like hope.
For God so loved the
Do you
world,
like
gave his only begotten Son.
Do you like war?
And apparently, from the talk, the word begotten itself
like peace?
means
you
had
are
through sexual intercourse. And I believe 14 Christian scholars, about 14 Christian scholars have disapproved this verse because of the word begotten.
Right.
In it.
Well, I think begotten can have a biological inference, but it doesn't necessarily have to. It doesn't have to have a biological inference. Obviously, if you think of it biological, it's absolutely crazy. But I think the rubber hits the road. You mentioned there are verses in the Quran that say that the Injil and the Torah are corrupt. You said that.
Yeah, it says in the...
I've got them. I've got them. The most important one is this, Surah 2:79. So woe to them that write the scriptures with their own hands, then say this is from Allah in order to exchange it for a small price. Woe to them for what their hands have written, and to them for what they earn. So this would be your primary text that you would say indicates that the Torah and the Injil are corrupt. Okay, but my problem is this: that
that's not the example.
There's only two.
There was another one. It's not about the text. However, that verse.
Oh, you're talking about do you cover hope believers that they would believe for you while a part of them used to hear it?
It's different. But for this verse that you just stated, I believe that was because at the time Muslims were in Mecca and they were being tortured by the non-Muslims over there. And this verse was revealed so that they could tell them.
Do you know the verse? Do you know which the verse is? Because if it is a significant verse, let's assume the Torah is corrupt. My problem then is, this is really important, the Jewish diaspora prior to Muhammad stretched all the way from Arabia, all the way to Gaul, all the way to Spain.
Right now I'm telling you about the judge, and you don't like it.
Copy that in Arabia had some words altered.
Like the Lord of Lords, Jesus Christ.
Every single Torah scroll throughout the whole of the Jewish diaspora, because
confused.
In the temple, they had a prototype. Every other Torah was taken from that. All of the Torahs and all of these were in tabernacles in the synagogues. How could one incident of corruption of the Torah in Arabia infect without the whole of the Jewish population knowing it when they had the Talmud, which was the oral Torah, to back it up? It's impossible.
This is why I understand from you saying this. You assume that what we think is the Torah and the Bible, they're completely wrong. Nothing true in
He doesn't understand. The person he's looking at is not my sister, it's my brother.
How come the Christians
Anyway,
and the
we'll
Jews
go on,
never realised
because
it was
he's
corrupt?
been this way many a
Because there was more than just the copy that was corrupt.
You know what?
So let's
God
say a
loves
copy
us
was
more
corrupt.
than
You guys believe this, right? Because the guy
imagine.
came, I'm spiritual.
The
The guy who
love
asked
of
the
God
Bible,
demonstrates.
he says
You know
that
what?
he
How
claims
God
that he's spiritual.
demonstrates himself
So, like,
before us.
Muslim.
He died on the
He's a
cross.
good man, he's a
He
scholar,
died
and then he writes it
for
and he
your
sticks it to the Bible,
sins.
and it's part of the Bible now.
Right, yeah.
Like the last apostle, I don't know what his name is.
Yeah.
But this is how it works in Christianity. Scholars can add to the Bible.
We know, this is why I've got the earliest. The Bible I've got is
Maybe
the
it's not
earliest
made.
copy. Now, I would agree with you. If you said afterwards, all we need to do is we get the earliest, and then we compare it to later ones, and you can see corruption, because corruption happens to truth. You don't get corruption before truth. You have truth, then corruption. If I've got the earliest Christian scriptures, and they're the ones who are accepted by the Christians as being their scriptures, and you say they're corrupt, you must show me an early version so I can check mine off, and then I can agree with you.
There's many books that are corrupted. There's many books that are corrupted, so they're all the truth.
Sure. Sorry, say that again. Yes.
That's it. All the truth. Corruption is the truth.
Yeah, you've got to have truth first before corruption.
This is a religious debate, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're Muslim. Yeah, fine, yeah.
So basically,
with happiness
logically,
and
what I
joy
get from this
because he
one, you said
created
earlier,
us.
Yeah.
you're trying to prove Christianity to be the truth, right? And he's trying to prove
Well, you know, I'm not trying to present my opinion as truth. I'm trying to examine the evidence. And we agreed that there were Christians who had books.
what I'm saying. If there's many more
do
than
what
one
God
scripture,
says
like
in
the
order to
Quran,
meet it.
it's also claimed to be corrupted. So it's
All
not
right,
the truth.
this man wants to meet Jesus. Anybody else?
The truth gets corrupted. So isn't that?
Listen,
I'm not sure how that changes the discussion that we were having. Yeah, no, it's something to think about. But my point is, how could the Christian and the Jewish scriptures become
if they
corrupted
really want
without
to
the
meet
body of
Jesus?
Christians and the
Right.
Jews knowing that? Because they were the ones who were
He said he
in
would do
possession
whatever it
of
takes.
the
really argue that.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing. But thanks for that anyway. I appreciate
In
it.
the first surah of the Quran, the last three verses, it says, last three verses, it says, may you guide us to the straight path, unlike Jews
you only
who
meet
gain your
God on your
anger,
terms.
and unlike the Christians
This is
who are
what
led
happens
astray.
with the whole world. We only, you said, look at you're
We
still,
believe when it comes to Torah, for
listen,
example,
I said, are you willing to meet Jesus in any terms? His terms, you said, yes, I get on my knees. You've got to humble yourself before God. But sir, you've got so much of yourself in you, you're just like your friend here. You have no room for God. You only have room for yourself. You are not interested in Jesus Christ. Jesus said,
You're saying the earliest
Jesus
Torah
said, go home and make life.
did the Jews know?
He is the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus said his life can become part
Jews eventually end up
of
with
our
non-corrupt ones
soul.
if they only had the
He will
corrupt
put
ones
his
to begin
spirit
with?
in us
Did
and give us
God
hope and
reveal
peace
them to them
and
later
love
on in their
because
truth?
He alone created us. He alone can give us happiness.
They, of course, they had.
Did you know, Javed?
Like, they had
No, you didn't. I already knew that.
Like in every
Javed didn't know. Did you know
Moses
that babies are
received
born
the Torah
blind?
on Mount Sinai.
Did you know
along with the
babies
Ten
are born
Commandments.
blind?
And over 40 years,
Babies.
Moses revealed
All
it
babies
bit
are
by
born
bit,
blind.
scribes
Did
wrote it
you
down.
know
This is what
that?
I understand. The history
No,
tells me.
it's not
Because
true.
at the time it
Don't
was
believe
written
it.
down,
Babies are not
unchanged.
born blind.
It
Don't
was
believe that.
unchanged.
Listen, you'd fall for anything. But listen, babies are born from, you're not open to anything but yourself. You wouldn't even kneel down and pray with me. Yet you said, I want to meet Jesus. You see, folks, without a true desire, you fake news. God loves us and will change us. But we have to
when they had the
humble our
Talmud
hearts.
and the oral tradition to process. doesn't make it
because
When they write the Bible, who wrote the Bible?
okay, so there was a corruption.
who told you?
A party of them corrupt.
I told you.
When it was collected,
Whoa, one. Listen, one.
when it was collected,
Whoa, one idiot at a time. Who was first?
But didn't you say earlier on that it was corrupt before Muhammad?
Sir, whoa.
Has there ever been
Whoa.
Yes.
who had it?
Whoa, Larry Curly, hold on.
Moses.
Now listen.
No, that scribes would
Young man,
over 40 years.
you are a perfect example
and Islam is
of
known as the words that
the Bible says
Have the first surah. How
No
can they be corrupted
God.
without people knowing? So yeah, because of your religion, your Christianity, scholars can add stuff to the Bible. I agree. Apostles can add stuff to the Bible. That may be corrupt.
That's why, in nearly all circumstances, the earliest is the truest. Would you agree? In nearly all circumstances, the earliest is the truest. Because corruption comes after the truth. So,
are they qualified to do so?
who qualified?
No, they're qualified by Christians to do so. That's why.
Well, what I've got a copy here.
The earliest Bible.
Well, look, I'll show you.
So
No,
was
the
it
New
corrupt?
Testament. This is the New Testament. See, if you have a look, you'll see this is the Koine Greek version of the New Testament. There isn't another translation that is earlier than this. I know that you can point to me later interpolations in later Bibles. Those are incidents of corruption, let's say. But this one doesn't suffer from that. Okay? So the qualification is that Christians accepted this. Now you're telling me this is false. So what Christians accepted what?
I never said that this is false. Because the way you view it, I think, the way you told me, okay, the Bible is not like water. If you contaminate, like if you put some salt, the whole thing is contaminated. If you like water, it spreads. Yeah?
I think
but the Bible is just pages. So some of them are wrong, and some of them are right.
Sure.
Some of them are wrong, some of them are right.
I think this might help us. You believe the Quran is the dictated word of God, meaning it came directly from God through his agency of Jibril to Muhammad, and exactly as it was. See, the Bible doesn't make that claim. The Bible are the biographies of witnesses. Okay. And even though you will see textual variations and some changes, the essential aspects of the gospel, the doctrines of Christians, are unchanged by those things. So we know that there could be scribal error, there could be error in translation from languages, and even some slight variations that came in later. And I'm with you, I'd say let's ditch the late ones, because they're unreliable, like the three that bear witness, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in Johanna. Say, I'm not going to have that, okay? And the adulterous woman. Let's strip that one out. This is how you see corruption. But you can't show me an earlier one that proves this is corrupt.
So unlike Jesus, John, whoever wrote that Bible, it's not Jesus.
Jesus didn't write anything.
Yeah, Jesus did not sit down and write the Bible.
Who do you think wrote the Injil?
Christians.
Christians.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's really interesting you said that. Now, what did those Christians believe? Didn't? No.
The disciples, yeah.
The New Testament. Now, we're talking about the New. So you think the disciples would have been the ones who wrote it down?
Wait, are you asking the last question? Is this the only Bible?
Mark, Luke, and John.
The only.
Okay, yeah. So the disciples wrote it. Well, two of them weren't disciples. You had Matthew and John who were disciples. And then you had their companions, Luke and John. Yeah? And then their scribes would have written down and recorded it and transmitted it. That's essentially the history of the Bible. So what I'm saying is, I remember going into a Christian shop when I was a newly kind of Christian. I said I want a Bible, and they said, which one do you want? And I said, well, how many have you got? And I could see hundreds and hundreds of Bibles, all with different things. I said, can I have the earliest? And they said, well, we've got a King James. And I thought, well, that's 1600. I want a really, really early Bible, because I can't. There is only one Bible. There is, but these are different. These are different translations.
Then why did the man say in the shop, which Bible do you want?
Yeah, because they were different translations. Because this is not the dictated word of God. Let's say modern English. See, this is translated from the Koine Greek, which is an ancient tongue. But languages evolve. Modern English isn't like old-fashioned English.
All the same.
Well, essentially they are, but they record them in a way that people of a certain era would understand better than an ancient language, if that makes sense.
But you said that one Bible never had that verse.
Yeah, this is where I agree with him. There are 2, maybe 3 incidences that you can say that they've added things to this Bible, and you would see them as corruption, right? If I agree with you and say, well, here's your Injil, why would you reject this? I'm agreeing with you. Those are corruption. I can understand the science of analysing corruption. You can say it's not in the earliest. I reject it.
Remember, who's the people? It's a paradise or something. The people.
Come take over everything from your humanity.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Denominations that this brother is fixated on. All of them.
Or Vatican I?
They are all holding the disciples of Christ. The disciples of Christ lives in all of them. The disciples of Christ exists in all of them. Yes, shortly. The disciples of Christ are the followers of Jesus.
First of all, Catholic worship a cross, which is idol. That's wrong. Hold on.